Oh,
Yay!
oh dear. Oh dear
Oh
again.
God.
Yeah.
All I'm saying
Right.
is, if I find the right power cables to chew on, I just might get superpowers.
You're not in Jamaica in the future. That's not how it works.
You
Oh
could also
yeah,
get a visit to
I'm
the
sick, so
emergency
my voice is
department.
worse than usual.
Yeah, Raz is dying slowly, as are we all.
But
We have a special guest, Couch Crusader, here. Everybody, look at him. He's got more pixels in his webcam than the rest of us put together.
Yep,
Oh dear.
true.
Oh man. Well, all the better to bring up this stunning complexion with.
Indeed. You handsome, handsome man. And then we've got Pav, who's shorn his locks.
You can see I have no hair here. I've actually I have got, because I'm donating it to charity, so I've actually got my hair
In a bag, that's
bag
beautiful.
here. You can see my glorious locks. These are going on sale, limited edition. The bidding starts at $50. So
Right, do I hear 40?
Limited edition.
Do I hear one?
24 inches, ladies.
God
Gentlemen.
almighty. Gentlemen. Dear Trixie.
Trixie. Alex is not here. I can talk shit about his wife all I want.
oh yeah, I gave Alex a story idea, and he's in the feature box, and it's like his fourth most popular story. God damn it!
Oh god, the Trixie tries to take on Celestia story.
Yeah,
Oh god.
I just made that up off the top of my head because I was writing out the intro.
These podcasts produce the most bizarre stories.
Mhm.
And we come up with horrible story ideas, and then Alex writes all of them.
Yeah.
And then he
He-
succeeds
he-
from them.
And he gets featured off of them.
It's semi-disgusting and semi-inspirational.
This is
I
going to
don't-
be confusing, like, right quick, because I know a different Alex than the Alex you guys normally know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are not referring to Alex Straza in this.
yeah. He posts our blogs now, so now whenever Alex Magnet is reviewing, I'm sure there's confusion, and there's
Quite possibly.
probably confusion and already. So
Well,
Yeah.
come on, like, one's a dragon. You should be able to figure this out by
Yeah.
now.
well, also it's also it says Alex Magnet who's writing the review, and there's Alex Straza who's posting it. So there's different.
Are you serious? I
Yeah,
thought it
but
was
who has
wondering
time
who
to
writing
read
all
past the
these
first 4
reviews.
letters?
I want to say that's a quote of something, but I don't remember what it is.
Well, without further ado, we should probably get on with the show. Let's get
Yeah.
Raz
Oh
Right.
yeah, me.
talking about the things that he wrote about the stuff that he read.
Yes, round 43. First story was Melt by Horizon, which is a poem, which is lacking. But there's not that many poems in the fandom, I don't think, and we need more. And Alex tried to do that, and he failed miserably.
God, that was another one, wasn't it? Was it? Well, oh no, that was just spawned from the chat in general, as
Yeah.
opposed to the stream. So
But still, he failed. And it's basically what Melt is about. It's about so King Sombra and his banishment, or into the Tomb of Ice for 1,000 years, and it really makes you sympathize with his character. Which,
he has a character.
yeah, it makes a character for him that you can sympathize with, and it's pulled off really well. It's a ponification of T.S. Eliot's The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock.
Oh,
So, never read the poem before, but yeah.
I'm familiar with T.S. Eliot, so I may have to check this out.
Second story was Octavia's Reprise by Venates,
Mm-hmm.
and I dare say it breathes new life into the Octavia Vinyl Scratch pairing, mostly because they are not lusting after each other and they're not in a school setting. But also,
I don't follow.
go back to your anime.
Sugoi.
But anyway, it follows Octavia. She's basically fallen on hard times and is trying to reconnect with vinyl, and some which and it tells the story of when they were young and how they came to know each other, and also this recent one where Octavia is like changing her entire life to get a friend.
Oh.
I will admit that, like, the past 3 or 4 rounds of reviews have all featured Octavia and Vinyl Scratch stories, which portray the
That's weird,
pair
yeah.
in a new light. Like, there was the one where Octavia was a ninja. There was this one, I can't can't remember what the other one was. It'll come to me eventually, but still, it's interesting that we've sort of featured this so many times. Maybe it's just because so many.
Coincidence.
Yeah, no, maybe it's coincidence. Maybe it's just the fact that there are so many Vinyl Scratch and Octavia Fix that are just basically the exact goddamn same thing. That whenever we find something that isn't, it's worth shouting from the roof.
Well, I'm pretty sure like 90% of them all have the romance tag attached. So.
Well, duh.
I think
What's
that
the
I think that
version
could
of
be
the
said about
romance
fiction. 90.
Okay, third story is Special Relativity by Melon Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a comedy where it's Pinkie Pie and Lyra, where Lyra kind of reveals in conversation that she doesn't have any family around her, and she's sad because of that. So what Pinkie Pie does is she goes and gets Twilight Sparkle's scrolls, the family histories, and they discover that Lyra is also related to the Apple family.
Oh Jesus.
And so Pinkie Pie just playfully gives her some perks, like a free apple, and then suddenly everyone else wants to know if they're part of the Apple family so they can get these free perks, and everything just goes straight to hell.
Oh dear.
And
So basically, the logical conclusion from Pinkie Apple Pie, obviously.
basically, I really like how it's able to use absurd humor without being absurd itself. And it's not relying on shock value.
Fair enough. So, does it have the random tag, or is it just
I
absurd on its
think
own?
it did. I think it did.
I must admit, I don't tend to enjoy stories with the random tag. But
No,
if
wait,
it's
no, it
absurd-
doesn't.
Oh, fair enough. Probably enjoy this at all then.
Uh,
Right.
Fourth story is The Curious Incident of the Robot Dog in the Nighttime by Bradle. And this is a story that, for some reason, still hasn't been read even after we've featured it, but basically it warps the perspectives of Lyra and Derpy, and you think you think they're ponies, but they're not, and Bradle is able to make them just something completely entirely different. And it's so different, it kind of took me back at first, and I loved it.
Interesting. I remember commenting on this before, but the title is based off of The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, which was a book I read, and I think I was about 14 or something, and it's a child with Asperger's syndrome. It's from his point of view as he tries to find out why his dog is dead, and it's a glimpse of the world through someone who's on the autistic spectrum, and it's a really, really interesting book. I would totally recommend it to anyone who sees it in a shop window or something if they still sell it. So, anyway, anything else you'd like to say on the mysterious robot dogs?
I loved it. Go read it. And we need a sci-fi tag.
So do we think that it actually technically counts as a crossover, or was that just a?
It's not a crossover per se. It's
Okay.
like more of an adaptation, and those are typically the better crossovers.
Well, I would consider that a crossover too. Because
Yeah.
Faison was freaking out because we haven't done a crossover at all in Seattle's Angels, and this.
Yeah, well,
technically would be
it has
first
the
one.
tag, but it's more of an adaptation than a true crossover.
That I could get into a whole debate on that, but
Yeah, I know you would.
Well, why don't we?
I don't know.
we got nothing else to talk about. What the hell? Let's just do it.
We don't have anything to talk about. So.
Yeah,
Well,
Well,
we do have one thing to talk about. We do have a
Alright.
special guest here.
I don't
Mr.
know,
Couch Crusader.
Well, just like kind of looping back on like the whole crossover thing, just because like it has a similar title to an already published book. I don't know. One of the earlier fics I was writing in this fandom cribs off of A Fire Upon the Deep by Vernon Vinge, and it's just related by title only. So you know, take
That is a
that what
point.
you will.
Like, there is a point where does inspiration become crossover? Like, you've got an awful lot of things which share themes and which have been heavily inspired by, but where does that end and where does borrowing become, and how much borrowing is required for the tag? Like,
I don't know. For me, it was just like borrowing the title, and that's really about it.
yeah, it's a blurry line, and I don't think would get a 100% concrete definition on it. But yeah,
I think it's
bring up-
mostly that it's hard to define it, but when you see it, you can point it out pretty easily.
I think y'all need to
that's
pull in
crossover.
I think y'all need to pull in Aquaman for a future interview because he will have approximately 94 minutes of material to talk about with regard
He
to
actually, because he actually did that giant post, I think, in Wanderer D's blog about crossovers.
Yes,
Did I see that?
was it the how to write crossovers well, or was it the
Yeah.
film fiction editorial?
Yeah, it was how to write crossovers. It had Airhead, who does Stardust,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Aquaman, who wrote
Yeah.
Harmony.
Oh yes, Harmony, the Bioshock one. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both
Pretty
are
strong.
really good stories.
And if anyone's like headed to BronyCon too, he's going to be there on a crossover panel, I believe. So.
God damn you, East Coast, 3,000 miles away.
Excuse me.
Says Plum.
Hey, you're still on the East Coast.
Technically, I am on the east coast of Britain. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, dear.
that's why I made it vague.
So
So
you're,
you have to
are we
trust the
talking
comic.
like Philadelphia or China?
Oh dear. But still, Aquaman, while he may certainly give it consideration to getting him in for a future thing, but he is not here at the moment. Instead, we do have Mr. Couch Crusader.
Oh god.
For those who do not know of you, who are you? What do you do? That sort of thing.
Oh, why are you making me answer this question?
It's an interview.
No, it's four grown men training metaphorical lasers upon my heart. Anyway,
Oh dear.
I think I've gained most of my notoriety here by being a blog pony with Equestria Daily. So like every now and then I'll write articles on them, usually like episode follow-ups, but I try to have a finger on most of the fanfic events that we run there as well. So with season 4 going on, we would come out with a new writers training ground event based on, cues and events from like that week's episode, and that's what I've been trying to push. So there's a little bit of that. I've also done some convention coverage for Equestria Daily as well. So if you were ever curious about what was said on a guest panel or something like that back in 2013, that's something I probably would have covered.
Mm-hmm.
I also write on the side. I don't know.
Yeah. You write false
Occasionally.
words sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yes. I had completely forgotten that you were the one who wrote up the EQD post for BronyCon. Must have completely slipped my mind.
Yeah, well, I hope to God I mentioned you in that thing. I'm pretty sure I did.
I think I got mentioned at some point, but to be fair, I didn't really do an awful lot at BronyCon 13. So
Yeah, you are a coat.
I did. I wore a coat and I wore a horse mask for some of it.
Nice.
Cosplaying as Isaac Nathan. Anyway, yeah, that's the general reaction that people have.
Did you do it with two hands?
I did actually get. There was a surprising amount of horse masks. I say surprising amount. I was expecting some horse masks, but I ran into a different person in a horse mask like every 5 minutes. I met horse masks that I'd never even seen before, like the unicorn ones. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of the same thing like back when Season 2 came out and everything was Party Rock Anthem and Discord shuffling.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, and don't remember, fun.
Oh
fun,
Jesus
fun.
Christ! No.
Like every BronyCon 2013, every 5 minutes, it's like one person would start doing that, and then like.
I wasn't even there, and I
people
cringed when it
That
happened.
was like all of 2013, really.
Yeah. It's just the thing that like I remember seeing M.A. Larson, who was on the Mythology in Equestria panel, which was a pretty decent panel. And
Is that online somewhere?
I probably somewhere. I've not looked up since then, but I sat there with Bad Horse and we were discussing Roman mythology. But I remember he had to deliberately avoid saying the word fun. He said they had a lot of nice enjoyment and stuff like that, because every time someone said the word fun, someone would start that goddamn chant. It's
Don't get us wrong, BronyCon was fun, and we're all excited to go back there, but, a little bit of spaghetti.
Yeah, the spaghetti shall blot out the sun.
I think at that point most bronies are just like kind of sick and it's just like, oh God, well I better do this now so I'm not found out and escorted from the premises.
Being an outsider within the outsiders. There you go.
That's...
Oh dear. So anyway, Reminder to those people in the various chats that we are inhabiting, you can ask questions both in general and directed at Couch.
And we do have a bunch of questions here. I've been gathering them up, so let me just kind of
excellent.
let me fire through all the questions because they are all shit.
Yeah.
Flash Gen wants to point out that he's put down $75 on my luxurious hair. It comes complete with a Ziploc bag. That's $75 now. Deja asks, do we answer questions? Yes, we do. We answer questions. Shit, I mean, I know this guy from FIC, but I don't know. Docio? How do you pronounce his name?
We had this
always
last
say
time. Docio?
Doso.
He wants to know where, Plum, where do you buy your kilts?
Scotland, because anywhere else they're shit.
Makes sense. M1 Durand wants to know why Plum is so win.
Fair question to ask.
Because he hasn't
Because
written
he buys
anything
kilts from Scotland.
Hey,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Two for the price of one. And then we've got actually a question here from the Google Hangout. This is from Viola. She wants to know, hey guys, will we see Jaina Solo in the new movies? She is a total badass and was my childhood hero. I mean, I definitely think that, I'm really looking forward to Equestria Girls 2, but I'm not really sure that they're really going to go for the crossover route, personally. But I mean, that would be the exciting twist that really would get a lot of the adult viewership in there. So, I mean, there's a chance. I don't think we should count it out.
Yeah, oh God. Right. We haven't actually discussed... We used to, discuss episodes and various things on these podcasts, and that's just sort of, fallen at the wayside. I
Are we
mean,
allowed to
episodes of
discuss
what?
the finale yet?
feel free. I think part of it fell away because I haven't, watched half of Season 4 yet, so...
That seems to be kind of weird for me that a lot of people... In the previous seasons, it was always kind of like, oh yeah, we'll give 24-hour notice and then everyone's caught up by then. In this season, I don't know if people are just kind of losing steam, but a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, I'm 3 weeks behind, 5 weeks behind. Last episode I saw was Rarity Takes Manhattan, and it's just like, what the hell, guys?
Well, once you see Rarity Takes Manhattan, what else do you need to see?
Fair point. I've currently got Pinky Pride open in another tab that I was watching before. I had originally planned to watch all the Season 4 episodes I was missing today so that we could discuss them in the podcast. And then I just found myself cringing at one or two of them. I just...
Which ones?
Mostly the, Rainbow Falls. I just kept cringing away at that one. Still, I've been enjoying them so far. Three's a Crowd was interesting. I'm going to take this off on a side tangent because we always do.
Tangent? What?
Yeah, I know. There's an awful lot of really cool mythology in MLP. I mentioned earlier there was the Gronicon panel, Mythology in Equestria. It was hosted by a dude who was doing his doctorate in history at Oxford or something, and it was mostly about the Greek mythology, which is the most prevalent. I mean, you've got manticores and hydras, and Cloudsdale has got colosseums and is clearly Greco-Roman in design. But at the same time, you've also got stuff like Ahuizotl, who is is it Mayan or Aztec? Aztec?
I want to say Aztec?
Aztec demon sort of thing.
Who is that? He's Aztec.
Aztec, yeah. And there's something that I only noticed recently is that in the Daring Don't episode, they mentioned in one of the books Quetzalcoatl Empress. And Quetzalcoatl is an incredibly badass god of wind, I believe, which is like a flying snake thing. And there's just so much mythology in the series, and how do they cram it all in there? I don't know what my point of this is. I'm just marveling at the depth.
The question is, does Celestia ever invite Quetzalcoatl over for tea time?
That is Alex's
I hate tea. Don't you know that?
That's a fic someone needs to write.
Alex.
It's actually a really good transition. We have a question directly for Couch.
Go on in.
Speaking of fics that you've read, which of these stories are the... Oh, which of... Hang on, I need to read. Reading's
You need
hard.
to read.
Get as close to the screen as you need.
Okay, which of your stories, so I assume this means stories that you have written, make you cringe the most when you reread them? Also, I'd like to take this opportunity to hold up my hair again because people in the chat are asking about my hair.
You should just like tack that
It's the
up,
wall.
like on the white.
I should like attach it to my head. That'd be a good thing.
No. Just like pin it up right above the whiteboard and just like leave it there for the rest of this podcast.
Yeah, there we go. That's
It'll be great.
No,
beautiful.
If you put it on the
Wear it
whiteboard,
as a
it's not going to come
mustache.
down.
Yeah.
Where it says a mustache.
If he puts it up on the whiteboard, it's not going to come down. That's how it works.
So who was asking me that question about like what fic I've like written that makes me cringe the most?
I don't know because it does it's just like their Google ID. So Francis.
Oh, okay.
Francis.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Oh, Francis.
Yeah. Have you folks ever heard of an author named Twilight Snarkle?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
We've reviewed one of his fics before.
Yep, that's him.
Oh.
Oh.
Hey.
Ha!
Call it out for your friend.
Yeah. Nah, that's good. He honestly needs more exposure, in my opinion, because like he wrote the only Sonic crossover this fandom ever needs, and there he is, being very angry at me on Skype right now. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I kind of miss like when I started. I miss the days when like I started writing out fics for this fandom because like I was a lot more productive back then. I was coming out with chapter updates to A Fire on the East like every 2 weeks or something like that, and now I haven't really like pushed anything out for like the past 6 months, maybe even more than a year, and all that. So I think I'm very happy to be here, but I think y'all are really scraping the bottom of the barrel by having me on tonight.
Seattle's Angels.
Yeah.
We have good fans.
We are the bottom of the barrel, so.
Yep, as fic goes. I'm looking at this list that I have on Film Fiction right now, and half of it is just like unpublished stories and all that. And then like, you know what? I can think of a couple stories that I'm gonna cringe about, but I'm not gonna share them with you like right now. They're meant to be like kind of private writing exercises more than anything else.
Twilight Snarkle is specifically, he asked a new question. Don't make this about me, Couch. Don't evade the question. So, shots fired.
Yeah.
I've never actually used the Google Hangouts question thing before. Interesting.
Was that like?
Well,
Yeah,
people use Google
There's like
Hangouts.
this list of apps like along the left side of this
Mhm.
workspace thing here and all that, and I'm
Half of them don't
This is
work
very
90%
fancy.
of the time, so, Google.
yeah. Fair enough. I don't know. We'll have to like loop back around to that, but like really, I'm kind of proud of everything that I've like started writing ever since like I started in this fandom. I guess. Sorry, that's not a very good answer to your question there, Snorkel, Francis. What have
Do
you?
you have a favorite then?
Do I have a favorite?
Hmm.
You mean least favorite if we're going cringing route?
Either way works.
No. Oh, jeez. There's this story that I wanted to come back to for like the longest time. It's like the one that's closest to my heart. Again, like it's that one, A Fire on the East. It's one where like the end result would be like Fluttershy receiving the power of healing fire. And in order to do that, she needs to journey through the Dragonlands to learn more about herself and save Equestria along the way. It's pretty amazing because like I'm not sure why I thought my watch would actually give me the current year or anything like that, but I have people like commenting on the story fragments that I have up on DeviantArt like in this year, like wondering when I'm going to come out with a new installment for that. So I guess I'm kind of cringing in that regard because like I'm letting down a lot of people who've been with me like since the very start in that regard. So I'm kind of remorseful about that. Same thing with a story called Via Equestria as well, which I started writing in 2012, I think, where I basically take the main six and I have them go on a Tour de France type grand race around Equestria. Promise to have like lots of world building, lots of character interaction, that kind of thing among the main six, and it's just kind of fallen by the wayside. And for that, I really do apologize to everyone who is still looking forward to reading that.
Like, what do you think the case is? Is it just that you can't find the inspiration on these stories, or
I'm just lazy. That's really about it. I would much rather think about going out to Best Buy or Target or something like that if I have 3 hours to spare.
I will drink to laziness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will sit in front of my computer telling myself to write, but never actually write.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
there's
it's,
me.
it's a problem that every writer faces, where you finally give them the chance to write, and then suddenly their words fail them at the keyboard. You know, it's just never as good on the screen as it is when it's just like kind of floating around your head, like half formed and full of possibility.
Hmm.
I'm trying to teach myself to not care about what I write, so that way I can publish more.
Yeah.
It's not really happening.
I mean, shots fired, but I kind of admire Alex on that he just kind of, like, we tell him a story idea, and then, like, 2 days later, he comes out with it, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
There's a kind of there's that kind of author like Alex and Rainbow Bob. They enjoy writing, and they write because they enjoy it.
Yeah, and they're very prolific at it too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I respect them for that. Like, and it's not. There's a difference between that and not caring about writing. Where there are some authors which either don't care about writing at all and just do it to get followers or something like that, and that's different.
I mean, not
Well,
caring
there
about
is a
what I
story
write.
literally titled "We're allowed to cuss in the stream," right?
Yeah, good
It's called
God, yes.
"Fuck it, I'm having fun." So
Oh God, yeah, that one.
Uh,
Or Twilight Sparkle.
the one that started it all.
Yeah, that's the first of the League of Humans Acting
So
Villainous.
when you literally title your story in
if
so
I'm
many
having
words,
fun.
I don't care about writing, then
Is it-
you know,
Is it so much about him not caring about writing, or is it him not caring about what's happening in the world? Because I've not actually read most of, any of that story in particular, really. So
Which one are we
I
talking
skimmed
about?
through.
it's called "Fuck It, I'm Having Fun," and
Oh,
it's
that one.
yeah, the first
I
of the
s-
League of Humans Acting Villainous. So
Oh.
I skimmed through a couple chapters, and it seems pretty clear that what he doesn't care about is the quality of the writing.
oh dear,
You've
oh
looked-
dearie me.
You've looked much, much further into that story than I ever would have cared to do myself. So
Like I just chose 2 random chapters, and I haven't seen a single pony show up yet.
Which I thought technically you had to have at least one pony show up before FimFic let you post.
Well, he ends up in an alternate universe where everybody's anthro, of course. So
Of course.
Oh,
Wait, really? Oh, Jesus Christ.
God damn
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Hey, why are we spending airtime discussing this story?
That's a good point. We have multiple questions. Like
Go on in.
most weeks we're just like, guys, seriously, ask us questions, and now that they're like, you know,
I
coming
know
out of a rush
suddenly
here.
they're just opening the floodgates of questions here.
Yes, lovely.
We're putting them
We
into
have-
a little grab
We have
bag.
2 very similar questions.
It really helps that you guys are, like really good at what you do. So there you go.
So good.
People think that.
We so good. We're an institution.
You're so bad, Pat.
We
Yeah,
try to be professional.
Also, you've done this podcast like 26 times, right? And it comes out like every other week or something like that, right?
We have. And
Yeah,
we're
that's
like,
awesome.
usually semi on schedule ish.
Ish.
I'm proud to say that I've almost started working on my part for the next round.
Oh,
Excellent.
Wow. So
Okay, we've got a question from the Hangout, which is: have Couch and I ever considered a collaboration?
bow, bow, bow,
That implies Tom would have to write something.
Yeah.
bow, wow, 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 wow.
Damn it, Pav. Was it?
really?
That was
So Siraj is actually one of the guys who was a pre-reader along with me, like way back in the day. And all
Uh-huh.
that. And he still like hangs around with us. Super chill dude. And all that. You might have met him at BronyCon last year, actually.
possibly.
I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pav might have. I'm not sure. I don't know if I did. I may have done. Because to be fair, I met an awful lot of people. Like there were whatever what was the room called? Quills and Sofas was a surprisingly popular room.
God, that was amazing.
I know. I love that place.
I mean, to plug my own hometown con, like Everfree had an amazing writing track for its fan panels and all that, but I had so much fun in Baltimore, just like kind of hanging out in that room, just watching people collect around the Descendant and listening to him.
Oh man,
That was
the Descendant.
amazing.
I love that guy.
That's probably got to be like a kindergarten where everyone huddles around the teacher reading them a book.
Like,
Yeah.
I've said this multiple times in basically every chat I've ever been in, but the Descendant is such a fucking cool guy.
Yeah.
Oh my, like, when I first saw him, he was like 6'7", built like a goddamn rugby player, had the most magnificent beard I've seen in a good few years. I
Are
was
you
like,
sure
oh
you're
my
not talking
God.
about Aquaman?
No, Aquaman was like 7'8" or something like that. But
No,
no,
Father, just story.
Actually, I actually feel bad because like I misspoke just now. Like Siraj is actually still on the pre-review team, and like it was just an unfortunate slip of tense there. So yeah, I don't know.
The Descendant is basically the grandpa that everybody wants
Yes.
to find him.
Yes.
he's a grandpa, or sort of like a cool uncle in a way. Like,
Yeah, and I know. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, he's a physically imposing dude, no doubt about it. But he just likes to give people hugs. He looks like a bear in a suit, but he's a teddy bear. So
Those are the best kind of people.
he's fucking.
And yeah, just like right now, he is kind of going through some hard times right now. So if everyone on the stream could just like kind of wish the Descendant that like, hey, we're rooting for you and all that, and we hope that everything's going okay in your side of the woods, like right now.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thanks,
to answer your question, Siraj, Couch and I have not been planning a collaboration because that would require me to write a story.
Sorry.
If you like The Descendant, you'll write horse words.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Oh God! No, I have to. I'll write one as soon as C Squared's finished his.
Oh.
Oh God! We have even more questions.
Yeah, we got lots of questions. So we got a couple of questions here from the Skype group. Both Dozu, you correct me on pronunciation.
Doso.
No,
There's a Skype conversation going on right now. Invite me to this joint.
We have a
We'll get down to
Seattle
the
Angels
thing.
public chat, so.
So he asked, and Purple Pros both asked. They were asking about proper way to plan and structure stories. Tozu was specifically asking adventure. Purple was specifically asking romance. But because they're both asking the same question, we could probably just
Roll it.
Personally.
Planning a story. Go ahead.
Personally, I'm in the process of writing an adventure story right now called Derpy and Carrot Top on an epic adventure to save the world.
I saw you put that, and I'm like,
Yes.
yeah.
And
Yes.
and basically what I just did is I thought about what I wanted, and then I'm just going headlong into it. That's kind of what I do.
Okay.
If it's really long, I'll usually write an outline of some sort, but this one I don't plan on being that long, so.
How detailed do you make your outlines? Like, do you come up with specific scenes that you want to fit in and work around them, or?
Sometimes they're a complete outline of the complete chapter of what I want. Like I'll write just a paragraph of how this chapter will go. Other times it's just a couple lines of dialogue that I want, a couple keywords that for key scenes, and that's about it.
So no major planning, like 40 chapters in the future, they're going to go meet a Tatzelworm or something.
Well, if I write something that's 40 chapters, then yeah, probably.
It really depends. I think if you're doing like a epic thing that's going to be like 200,000 words long, or if you're doing a 5K one shot, you don't need to go that meticulous into the planning. But it's still like I find it helpful at least to break down the chapters, maybe break down like a couple of key scenes, just so you have.
Yeah, it's really useful if you're doing something and you need to be consistent. For instance, diary entries would be a big one. You want to get the dates put down together.
That's fair enough. The timeline sort of thing.
Something that I've kind of come across when I'm planning my own stories is that no matter how much I go into detail about like how I want a scene to like play out, like how my characters get to it, how they exit, that kind of thing, it always just kind of loops back to the characters. Every single time I try to write to like an outline or something like that, my characters will always find some way to just like kind of surprise me and toss everything out the window, just like any given Dungeons and Dragons session where the DM has this intricate world set up or whatever. Yeah. I think it's pretty important that you at least get to know your characters like on a fundamental level, just like at the very least being able to identify like what makes them happy, what terrifies them, and what gets them into trouble. Those are 3 points that again, like Aquaman kind of gave me, which I think are a really good jumping point for just like kind of figuring out how characters will act in given situations and all that. Because once you figure out what your characters are going to do and how they can react to certain situations or surprise you, then you can start working around that and just kind of like massaging the details of your plot outline to.
You have to let that flow when that happens. You can't just say, oh, well, no, my outline says this, I'm going to ignore, if your characters are telling you to go in that direction, you got to listen to it.
Yeah,
that's the other part about it. If you make an outline too rigid, there's no flexibility.
And then it just becomes no fun to write.
Yeah,
there is a saying.
That's why I like to do like just a couple keywords in my outlines, or a couple key pieces of dialogue.
Plum is turning red. We better let him speak.
The characters do their things.
I was just checking my Skype, but there is a saying which I don't know where I heard it from, but it's no battle plan survives contact with the enemy. Like you can't be too stiff, because if you don't bend with the way that it goes, it's just going to snap and not going to work. So, well, but. Is this advice you'd apply to all stories or adventure specifically? Like Pear was asking about romance stories. Would you deal with them differently?
I believe that this advice, just like getting to know your character, it applies to like all story genres. In my opinion, like plot is the most dispensable part of like any story, because it's easy to just kind of say, like I want things to happen in this order and all that, but we don't really care about like you don't really remember like the what of what happens in the story. You remember who moves through that story in the first place.
True.
Like, I mean, you may not remember what happens in like every single episode of My Little Pony, but you certainly remember the characters.
That's actually a pretty apt comparison.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's have a look. Still slightly related to this, I don't know how many other questions we've got, because basically Pav's just reading the chat, but how do you go about world building in your stories? Like, when is too much world building sort of thing?
Plum asking a question about world building? What?
I know! Shocking!
That's
almost as if I'm admin for that group. Anyway, go on in, Couch. How do you world build, and how do you get it across in your stories?
And is there too much world building?
Like, to answer that question, yes, there is such thing as way too much world building, because then that gets in the way of you writing the actual story.
Oh.
Sure. That's very
So you
true.
got to sit down and write that story at some point. There's like this satirical graph I saw on Tumblr once. It was a pie chart, just like kind of detailing what the author knew about their backstory, 99% filled, and then like what they actually knew about their story itself. Just like, well, it wasn't even on there.
Fair enough.
World building. That is a little bit harder to just like kind of give general advice towards. And I'm feeling a little bit ashamed right now, because like 5 of the current stories that I have in my idea doc all concerned adventure and all that.
I think part of it's got to be you've got to keep in mind what kind of story you're writing. Like, while you may have beautiful, detailed plans of the Quetzalcoatl Empire in your head, chances are that they aren't going to impact your romance story too much, even if it is like a romance between like Pinkie Pie and a Quetzalcoatl. So you do need to find the cutoff point. Like, when does it stop being relevant to the story?
Well, I think that's you answered your own question there. Like, I think you got to kind of treat it like an iceberg kind of thing. That you plan out, your crazy Quetzalcoatl background thing, but in terms of what details you actually put in the story, you only put, you have your character just go through the story, and then you've got this massive iceberg of stuff, but you only showed like the 10% that's actually relevant to the story, and pull out those details as irrelevant.
It's sort of loops back around to the planning your story sort of thing. Like, you've got to. I'm assuming. So the end result of this is like you have your characters and you get to know your characters and you get to know the world that they're in, and then while they may not see the entire world, Couches. It's turning the light off. Fair enough. While they may not see the entire world, you have the entire world, so you know it's going to be consistent and it's going to trip over its own feet or whatever.
So
When I
go on.
when I wrote my story, The Long Haul, not one of my more popular stories, but when I wrote it, basically the whole thing is world building. It was written for the World Building Alliance contest, but even though that was basically the whole point, was to build this world, I started with the characters who it was going to be featuring, because it's really hard to make the world itself the character, because the world is very impersonal. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in it, but you can't relate to the world at large. You need a personal story going on inside of it, which is why, you know, in the middle of this bloody warfare and all these hints and references to other big important things, what the story is focused on is two friends who are reflecting on how they got here from where they began.
I remember the long haul, and it's very, very character focused. It's the Minotaur and the pony, and I think it's fair to say there isn't an awful lot of story in the long haul. It's almost entirely character and world building. Like the story is implied from the situation that they're in, and from what they say to each other, and from the world that exists around them, sort of thing. So
yeah.
So,
But you stay in order to find out about the characters, not the world.
yes, absolutely.
You should read his latest story, or A Story of Solstice, which is it's to me read very much like The Long Haul.
I should definitely check that out.
That was also a contest entry.
Oh, really?
So looping back to Plum's question, now that I've had a little bit more time to chew on it, I think that you just kind of world build as time permits. I mean, we're writing fanfic, guys. It's our duty to have a little bit of fun with this as much as possible.
A little bit.
Yeah, let's not forget that that's the entire reason we're in this in the first place. But, so, yeah, I kind of a tried answer, but it's probably the best for now.
Fair enough. We have got we just got a question from John Perry a few seconds ago. Couch, I'm going to put you on the spot. When are you going to finish that Pacific Rim crossover? I remember you talking about this one.
Oh yeah, just like me blasting that on up there at the pre-order panel, saying like, yeah, I'm totally writing that, and then like no one hears about it for a year.
I remember hearing about it in the Skype.
It's like every author ever.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, I mean, like again, it goes back to me just like having 7 different ideas in that story doc of mine, and those are just the ones that are in my head like right now. I've got like 13 others just like kind of stashed in the depths of my Gdocs folder and all that. Just like
I've got a list
my dreams.
written right beside my computer of the titles of like 20 stories I want to write.
I really want to write that story, John. I really want to so much, but like right now I'm trying to focus on a different one. Like I guess like the way my mind works is that like it'll just like kind of latch onto one story for a specific amount of time, and like I'll just like write on that for 2 weeks, and then I lose interest in it and go off to work on something else. So with the season finale happening, I was working on like this Sunset Shimmer Pinkie Pie crack fic back in September and all that. But now that Twilight's has like different plans for the future than what I laid out in that fic, it's like I'll need a little bit more time to kind of reconcile this to canon and figure out where I want to go with it.
Save tree.
Save the tree.
I've been gloriously absent from the internet about that.
There is oh god, I'm going to bring this up. There's a character on FimFiction called I won't share his name, whatever. But if you've met him, you'll know who I'm talking about. He has some very odd views on canon, and has spent the last 2 years asking people if they think that non-canon stories should be removed from FimFiction.
Oh God.
What is that even?
That guy.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
What?
Exactly. But it does. While that guy is a bit daft, shall we say, it does bring up the point, like, how desperately should a story stay to canon?
I mean, like at some point, if you're not going to regard canon to that extent, then like why make it a pony story at all? You are literally just writing this for views.
Although, really, the place where we truly have to cleave to canon is with the main characters we've seen actually talk and interact on the show. I mean, a whole lot of other else is up for it's open season on, if you ask me. But if you aren't gonna write canon, you know, Twilight Sparkle and her friends and Celestia, and not have a good reason for it, You know, you can't just slap the alternate universe tag on it and say, "Oh, it's alternate universe is perfectly justified."
Red
It's
Thrush
alternate universe.
Academy.
Oh no, God! Don't bring up Red Thrush Academy. Jesus Christ. We've got
Leave it to Plum.
yes. Leave it to me. I wasn't the one who brought it up.
God damn it, Plum! What the
God
fuck?
damn it, Cav. But yeah, that is a point. It's not don't write non-canon ponies. Don't write non-canon ponies without justification for them being non-canon. Like, if you are going to have Twilight Sparkle be a bitch, give a reason for her being a bitch. And if it's a reasonable reason, I'm sure people will accept it, you know? It's just you need to be able to provide that. That's one of the many problems with Cupcakes, is it's just Pinkie Pie is a psychopath just because. And there isn't really much else to say about it, so... I notice before before someone nuked the question, we've had two from Alex Straza recently. One of them was #SaveTree.
No, we're currently answering Save Tree. See, it's
Oh, are we?
Top corner. Yeah.
I don't see that. And the second one is, as a site moderator, Alex Straza can confirm all non-canon stories will be annihilated. So, there you go. You heard it here first,
Thank you for the
folks.
confirmation. Yes.
I think only 90 has the on-off switch for fanfiction.
90's on-off switch. I dread to imagine what he'd turn on next. Someone was talking. I think it was Parasprite who was talking about this. He was asking why League of Humans Acting Villainous hadn't been banned yet. So. Oh dear, that section of stories.
Why hasn't it been banned yet?
It's technically pony. It's pony enough within fiction.
Technically.
It's
Well,
Our standards may be low, but they're not like fanfiction.net, so.
at least we can always say that. At least we're fanfic, not fanfic.
I mean, you know, you compare this to like Ponyfall, you compare this to 5x4 or whatever that one is, you know, and so, you know, it's basically, it seems like the precedent at least has just been to kind of not stifle, but just like cut down on the shit to noise ratio or
Something
whatever.
that like I kind of miss from the earlier days of the fandom is that like the folks who were writing fics were more geared toward like answering the questions that we didn't know. Equestria was still like this mysterious place full of history that we weren't aware
Still
of.
is.
And,
Yes.
Yeah,
There's
I mean,
still
like,
a lot.
you know, going along with like, the whole,
Yeah,
you know, like,
I mean-
we didn't have as much access to the staff like back then and all that. And these days, it just kind of feels like people aren't as interested in like exploring this world that has been set out for us.
We need more world building.
Yeah.
Good
God damn it.
lord.
Well,
Right,
we've had
don't
quite a
overdrive.
lot. I mean, after the season finale, I was surprised that there wasn't an explosion of fics discussing Tartarus and Tyrek and where he came from in his homeland. And I'm like, guys, what's up?
It's true. That's actually,
Ponies lose their cutie marks when they lose their magic. That's pretty awesome.
yeah.
That
we
was
need more on this.
that made my jaw drop.
Yeah.
Fred,
Yeah.
go in overdrive.
Going into overdrive. But
I'm going
we
ham.
Yeah, we need WBA. We are planning on getting the writing competitions back up, so expect more. But we do need more Tartarus. We do need more Tyrek because they are genuinely interesting things. Like I mentioned earlier, we've got. I barely even noticed it. There was the Quetzalcoatl Empress. And that's a really goddamn awesome god, and I've not seen a single Quetzalcoatl in any story ever.
And then,
Which
like,
is
in the
really
Equestria games, when you see the dignitaries from foreign lands, you have, like, that Babylonian or Mesopotamian pony, and then that queen from Naboo XP or whatever she was.
Or even just like some of the earlier episodes of season 4 too, like Power Ponies or Bats, where they just like kind of, or even like Castlemania, they just had those "or is it" endings.
You figured like with Power Ponies and like the Maniac, you'd see so many fics about that for a week, sure, but then it just like immediately died off, and I was just like, what? Even looking at like Daring Do is still kind of a thing, right? People are.
Well, everyone was just like pissed off that Daring Do was real.
Well, yeah.
Real as the show gets.
There needs to be more Indiana Jones and Daring Do crossovers.
Yeah.
There's only like one I can think of.
There just needs to be more adventure fics, period. Like, writers, please. I want to read
Yes.
this.
We want more sort of epic world-building adventure stories. We need more. We need more about the whatever that goddamn worm was that tried to eat them in Three Years of Grace.
Tassel worm.
Tassel
You
worm.
actually
I said it
you
earlier.
pronounced that
Yeah.
correctly like earlier in this webcast.
Yeah.
That's the amazing part.
Which is apparently a Germanic thing from the Alps. So German ponies are canon now.
Yes. The thing is the worm itself doesn't actually look anything like that, but the name is the same thing. It's like Wendigos are actually based on Native American mythological creatures that cause people to commit suicide. I think.
I thought it was to cause people.
Well, the same is also true for changelings and that one dog that was in Tradia.
Wendigos are based on the Wendigo, which are people who commit cannibalism and then are possessed of insatiable hunger.
Stuff like that. It's caused by spirits and stuff
Pretty
like that.
bad myth, if you ask me.
No.
So talking about adventure fix, that actually leads us in pretty well because the Skype group has just been losing their goddamn minds about wing blades. So these would be having, you know, on your wing a blade and use them. A popular weapon in adventure fix.
It's like the chat is the people still at the dinner table arguing over the turkey and stuff, and we're quietly chatting in the study.
I like to imagine that it goes over, like wing blades that go over the large, whatever you call it, the one that has the bone on it, and they're like shin guards, but with like blades on it.
So they're wing.
I saw this picture on Dirtbird actually that calls that little piece of armor that goes over the wing a couteau, which is the French word for knife. I felt that was fitting enough.
I like that.
It's just think about how impractical wing blades are, though. I mean, really, like if you're flying around using your wings, it'd be like having bladed shin guards. Like,
kind of like how they never actually created spiked armor.
Yeah.
Be better off hiding throwing knives inside the wings.
That's
or
cool
just
idea.
having a sword. Probably.
That is the voice of a man who has given this a little bit too much thought, and I do respect that.
Build more worlds.
I think the complaint that was coming up in chat is, you need your wings to fly. Why would you put a weapon on there? But it's kind of like in my mind, you're in a situation where, hey, I'm flying, you're flying, we both need our wings. First person to lose their wings loses. So, obviously, whatever you can do.
So let me cut your wing off with my wing.
Mutually assured winglessness. Yeah.
There are some fics that kind of bypass the whole thing and say that Pegasi can use wind magic to create like super sharp cuts of air.
Right.
There was something like that in Moonspire Run, although it was just like kind of called Sky Pony Magic back then. And
Sky Pony magic.
It was great. I miss Titan Rising. I wish he was back in the fandom and all that. And of course, like we do have Captain Chrysalid riding this Platinum Crown, and his Pegasus fights are literally filled with explosions. They're awesome.
His Captain Chrysalid's this Platinum Crown is probably the epic scale adventure story of the moment.
Still haven't read it.
Well, I don't blame you. It's over 500,000 words by now. I think.
Word count has never stopped me.
It's kind of two stories in one, actually.
I would know.
It does. Yeah, you would know. Yeah, skirts and explosions. But no.
Make Cav laugh while drinking his Dr. Pepper.
Cherry flavored, no doubt.
He doesn't drink anything else.
Nah, cherry. Going purist all the way right now.
Anyway, but
Respect.
Bring it back.
Harmony. We need more harmony. Whatever.
Harmony theory? What?
Yes.
Harmony theory. That's a good point. That was.
Good story.
We tend to use these podcasts to shout out for people. Like Harmony Theory, an awful lot gets shout. It gets an awful lot of shout outs. So I hope they actually watch these.
It's kind of like shouting into a busy football stadium, though, because everyone knows about Harmony Theory by now.
Well,
everyone
everyone near us knows about Harmony Theory because we keep on shouting about it.
Because I read like
needs to
I read
know.
like The Archer and the Smith by the same author, and I really love that story, but I just haven't gotten into Harmony Theory yet. Don't know why.
Charloth is a good writer. He also needs to write more of Lavender Unicorn Syndrome.
Uh-oh, guys, the chat is bringing out scientific words.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Shall we move on?
What are they using?
Wanderer D just said you could arguably place some sort of blades covering the carpo metacarpus of the wings.
I
Oh,
think that's what I was referring to.
that's what I meant when I said the
That's the
thing.
science word.
Oh,
Carpo metacarpus. That's not a horse word. I don't care if it's technically
This is
a
not a horse
Pegasus.
word.
It's technically a Pegasus wing, but so by extension, but no, that's not a horse word.
This is not a horse word. I have lost
Smooching. Smooching is a horse word.
God damn it, Bob.
Oh dear. No, if I remember correctly, the Kappa metacarpus is it's what you get when you the carpal and the metacarpus fuse. So it'll be like
Isn't that where like you're typing at your keyboard too long and you get like the wrist injury?
Isn't that carpal tunnel?
yeah. So it's like your forearm basically, if I remember rightly. But I don't know. It's been a while.
Half of Plum's words just now were in English. I recognize those.
It's stick blades on their forearms. Done. Yeah. So, do we have any more questions from the chat? Or are
We
just
got
going
a couple in the. We've got some people asking on behalf of a friend Ferret. We want to know about Couch's non-fic related art.
All right. Yeah, that's Masked Ferret. She's been popping up in fanfic a lot. Like, she's a really avid reader, and I love getting comments from her on that. Non-fic art. Why would you guys put me on the spot? Because like I don't really have I don't really have one place that I like put my art on or anything like that. It's like couch-crusader at deviantart.com, or else like I have like a Tumblr sketch blog as
You have
well.
art?
I mean, yeah.
Where?
He just said.
He just said.
Oh,
Here, I'll just
played-
like type a couple addresses in the chat real quick.
Yeah. We'll stick them in the podcast description or something.
plugs
Or
everywhere.
the Skype chat.
Plugs.
Yeah. Do. Dead air. Guys, come on, help me out here.
Indeed.
Getting the US trophy is never a
I
bad
just clicked
thing.
on the link. Oh my gosh, this art is so amazing.
Thanks, but you're just humoring me there.
No, really, I just did.
That's
It's pretty
usually
cool.
a picture is
Oh,
definitely something.
I didn't know you drew this cover.
For
Which
what?
cover art's this?
It only hurts when I'm sober.
Oh, that was a fun one.
It's actually. I think I actually recognize one or two of these. It's weird.
I'm still kind of proud of like how the coloring job came out in that one cover I did for Aquaman for Harmony.
Oh, dude, yeah, I remember this one. Yeah.
Oh.
I could draw so much better than that now. I really
Oh.
could. So,
Well, I like how we've got this just videos of us looking at things and going, oh, that's nice.
It's kind of like the one blog of Kim Jong Il looking at things.
Oh god.
Chris, that's amazing.
Oh god.
I hate that. No.
Yeah.
We need to link that in the description as well. Oh dear. But yes, I think people have been sufficiently told about his art. We'll stick a description to that somewhere.
Yeah. Not
Alrighty.
really a whole lot to say. Like I drop ponies and they're okay, I guess. So.
There's a very good Scootaloo one that I quite like. Alright, no idea. We've got another one from Alex Straza. No idea if this was asked previously, but how do you think the fandom will handle this particular hiatus between season 4 and season 5?
Y'all
Well,
go first.
we
Hopefully
lived
with
through
not,
more, so I
hopefully with
think
not
we
another
are
human-oriented fad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully by killing Lohav. I hope that's how we handle it, but...
We'll handle it by kicking Lohab in the nuts repeatedly.
Yeah. Spitting
Dick
into
punching
dust.
party.
Excellent. Baby punching. Right, go on and Couch, let's hear your opinion on this thing.
Go to Equestria Daily every day.
Heyo.
Not tired.
Yeah.
dear.
It's called Equestria Daily for a reason.
Like we're still posting a ridiculous amount of like stories, music, and art from like all over the fandom, just as we did like years and years before and all that.
I
stuff.
actually don't
Is it
really
still
know
Seth doing
any
everything?
other place to get that much stuff from the fandom.
True.
I mean, like, granted, the fandom's grown like so much larger in like the past couple of years. Like, Equestria Daily isn't the only place where you can just like kind of find the community anymore, which is what made it kind of nice. Like when I first found the site back in like 2011 and all that. But that's just kind of the way things go with fandoms like these.
True. we've gone over an hour into this podcast and we haven't actually talked about EQD that much, which is a very, very strange situation. So let's have a think. Let's have a bit of an EQD question time. How on earth did you first get into working with and/or for EQD?
Well, it's just, Plum. The answer to that question is just that you have to know the right people.
I'm not entirely. I've seen the
Too
shit
threatening.
readers say. What? Sorry.
So basically, you have to get Senpai to notice you.
Yes.
With
Hashtag
the knife
elite-
if you have to.
why is EQD so elitist? I hate Equestria Daily.
Yes.
Uh-oh. The chat is turning against me. Okay, so the story was, I joined an outfit on DeviantArt in 2011, like August, September, something like that, called the Writers Training Grounds. That's actually where I got the inspiration to like run this event for season 4. I mean, like it was me and like a whole bunch of other people who went on to become creators, like Kits, Pineapple Skitter, Eben Main, that kind of thing. And I just like started volunteering with those guys, reading in the 15 or 20 submissions we get every week from the prompts and all that, and just like kind of giving feedback on them. That was actually kind of nice to do. And all that. And then it turns out that a lot of those guys knew some of the pre-readers on Equestria Daily, so naturally I just like had to climb the fandom ladder. And that became a pre-reader somewhere around October-ish or something like that. And then I've just kind of been with the site like ever since. Started talking with like Seth and Cyril and got my first big break writing articles for that one thing in February 2013, which I will not name.
Probably for the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, well.
Because it never even happened in my memory. Just kind of like a blank space where the Crystal Empire used to be.
Oh dear. But no. So that's how you got into the whole pre-reading shindig. Are there anything? Anything that happened as a pre-reader that you particularly remember, that you particularly enjoyed or particularly cringed a bit at? Like, is there a story that you've absolutely loved from there or something?
There was always like one thing exploding after another, like at different times. Like I remember back in late 2011, like everyone was just like super bummed out about Grimdark Fix. Like, why would you disembowel ponies? Like, what does that say about you? Like, are you not concerned about how you're coming across to other people when you're just throwing Pinkie Pie upside down, just like letting everything spill out of her? Like, come on.
Well, how else are you supposed to see everything about the character?
When was it that Cupcakes was first uploaded to EQD?
I don't actually know. I think it was posted there before I joined.
Yeah, it's mid to late 2011.
Yeah, it's been nuked since, like, thank God, so people can stop asking about that, and they have, really, for the most part, and all that. And lately, like, the issue has just been, like, long response times and not getting particularly helpful responses back for, like, much of 2012 and 2013, I think. Mm-hmm. And what just happened, like, life just happened. A lot of the original pre-readers, like, they became embroiled with, like, work or college, and they had to just, like, kind of drop off wisely, in my opinion. I mean, this isn't something we get paid for.
Mm-hmm. No, it's completely voluntary.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, things just, like, kind of happened. We just, like, kind of cycled new blood on and solidified our pre-reading process a little bit more, but at the cost of just, like, kind of extending the time it took for us to get responses back to, like, authors. I mean, I still remember when it would only take about, like, a week to hear back from the PRs about, like, oh, how did my story do? And I thought that was a long enough wait. So I have absolutely no idea how people who try to submit to our site, like, nowadays are even able to handle it. Like, I have nothing but respect for the people who still consider us important enough to do that.
It's true.
Everyone likes getting their ego stroked.
That's pretty much it.
It's true.
Does that ever get frustrating? Because, I mean, it's an understatement to say that our fandom as a whole is just kind of a cesspool of drama, and we just kind of like blowing up drama about anything about the show, anything about the fandom, anything about content creator, anything about a cease and desist. So, and I imagine a lot of that gets filtered at EQD. Does that just kind of...
How do you deal with drama?
How do you deal with it?
Well, as pre-readers, like, we have, like, a separate inbox for fanfiction submissions versus just, like, the regular submission box where everyone else sends their stuff in. So we're largely kind of insulated from that kind of vitriol, and you don't have to actually read the comments on Equestria Daily posts and all that. I kind of feel that...
You never should
read the comments on Equestria Daily posts.
Never read the comments.
Well, I actually read the comments on EQD whenever I'm writing a follow-up, and I want people to, or at least, like, I want to know that people still, like, value me as someone who does more than breathe oxygen. No, but I believe that most of the drama is just, like, kind of really, like, on Twitter and just like
There's
people
Tumblr.
yelling at Megan about that. I mean, like it bums me out, but again, like the pre-readers don't really have to deal with that like a whole lot. Like our only issue is just like getting back to people like quickly enough, and hopefully that's been the case lately with the changes we made like late last year or like the beginning of this year ish. Starting to run together for me there.
Well, it's true. EQD's wait times has increased, but it's very true that the number of stories which are being submitted to you has just like exploded, like exponential increase.
We still get like 15 or 20 fics a day or something like that.
That's
So,
pretty
That's-
insane. How many pre-readers are there at the moment?
actively we have about 20 people on the mailing list, like including me, but like as circumstances dictate, we'll have like maybe 7 or 8 people who are able to just like kind of contribute on a daily basis. It's kind of rough.
Yeah, that sounds
is
pretty
insane.
insane.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not really a question we can just like kind of answer like so easily unless we found out a way to get the pre-readers a salary or something like that, because like this kind of crap takes time to wade through.
Oh God,
Not calling our submissions crap or anything like that, but speaking metaphorically. But it does require time and effort, and it takes away from our own creative endeavors too, because like a lot of us are writers who are still interested in like putting something up on fan fiction every now and then. So.
It's true. It is very important to remember that the EPD readers are not soulless robots. They do have other things to do, and
we are getting better now. We hired some new blood recently, and the oldest fic in the queue has gone from about like 3 months old to about like 1 month. So we're getting around to these like hopefully a little bit faster.
Cool.
And to be fair, it could be an awful lot worse.
Oh God, yeah.
Just be glad that we even have people like just the fact that we have people like pre-readers like Cows here.
Yeah, I mean,
is puts us, I think, a step above a lot of other.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and so many people are, just kind of react to it with just such a sense of entitlement, that my fic deserves the views of EQD, but I mean, yeah, just the fact that we have this kind of spotlighting, we have the pre-readers who are willing to do that. I mean, it's really just an impressive operation.
It still just like kind of bums me out a little bit that like even with this though, like viewership on fics has kind of gone down in the years, as I've noticed and all that. So
it may just be partly due to saturation. I mean,
that really is
so many
it.
goddamn stories. Like how many stories come out on FimFic alone every single day? It's like a few. Like
Alex, I know you're watching this right now. Give us an answer.
Yeah, we want.
He already gave an answer regarding how you actually got on EQD staff in the first place. He says that you showed him Fire on the East and then broke his heart by never continuing it.
Oh dear.
Alex, I promise, I really do want to get back to that story, but like, I also really want to get back to like 6 other stories that I'm working on right now. It's bad. I'm sorry.
Welcome to my life.
Welcome to the life of every author ever.
It's amazing. I never thought that I would have had like this many ideas to write about with like ponies. It's the strangest thing.
It's a very strange community we live in.
Yeah.
Like
it just helps that you have the setting like already there and the characters are already made for you. Now you just need to mix them together like a chemistry experiment. See what happens.
I was very surprised. Like last year, I actually sat down and finally managed to watch the entirety of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that's a beautiful cartoon. It's got a fantastic setting, and I was very surprised that there wasn't a more developed fandom around that. I mean, it's there. It's just it's not got a sort of Avatar Daily sort of thing,
That show came out like in the mid 2000s and all that. So I mean, the internet was still just like kind of shaking off like the last vestiges of AOL. Like I honestly do believe that the Brony fandom is like the first example of like a millennial generation group of people just like kind of coming together and collaborating on something like this.
Yeah, but like what about Korra? I mean, it got reinvigorated with Korra. You've still got like Adventure Time, which is still running. I mean,
Adventure Time's true, but I think the thing is with like Korra is, well, first of all, there's Korra, the fact that it's basically the Star Trek: The Next Generation of the series, in that it's a pretty divisive topic on whether it's a good show or whatnot. But I think, from my point of view, part of the reason why Bronydom has sort of taken off in this sort of extremely prolific fanfic spewing arts is just everywhere, is due to sites like FimFiction and EQD, where it's a place where you can find these sort of things, so people who enjoy these sort of things, like an audience, can be found. And it's EQD. It helps you find all the pony. It's just sort of a collaboration sort of thing.
That's exactly what Seth was trying to go for, like back when he started the site in like January 2011. Like the great bands on 4chan had just happened, and like he knew that like the fandom needed a place to just like kind of consolidate all that pony and all that. He said he always wanted to do something like Kotaku in the past, so he just like kind of started that up, and suddenly here we are, like
4 years later.
3 or 4 years later. Yeah, it's actually quite remarkable considering like the life cycle of websites anymore.
But I mean, not to devalue what Seth did, but I mean, you know, he's definitely done a huge service. But you know, the first step was just going to Blogger and starting a site on Blogger. So I mean, you know, it's not really anything that's stopping, you know, someone from making Avatar Daily or Adventure Daily or something like that. You know, just.
I think another thing to that too is that like those are shows owned by like Nickelodeon Cartoon and Cartoon Network and Disney, and they're a lot harder on like streaming their content online. With the hub and everything, it was a lot easier for us to just like kind of get pony streams going. I mean, like you see the number of streaming sites we have for now and all that. So I mean, like
Zyro and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like Equestria Daily gets its biggest amount of traffic from people who want to watch the episodes, and we give them a place to do that.
And we do have an answer from Alex Graza, who says that FimFiction gets roughly 100 submissions every day.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That I kind of honestly expected more.
I still, like, Meester goes through, I'm pretty sure, almost all of them on his own.
Meester.
Meester's an epic dude.
We need to get Meester on here.
Oh my god. It's just like, hello everyone, see, I was like, dead. No more stream. Gone.
No, not the stream's dead. All of us. He goes around and kills all of us.
Yeah, he just comes out the whiteboard.
He just comes up with a bitch cane and starts swinging it.
The Twi'lek cane, for God's sake. Oh dear. But no, 100 submissions every 24 hours and all of them are dealt with. Like, the backlog on FimFiction is practically non-existent, it's fair to say. Like, if you haven't received word back on your story being approved or not within a day or so, something's gone wrong, for the most part. So, that's legitimately impressive. Although I suppose with FimFiction is that they don't have to sort of judge it in the same way that EQD has to judge its stories. Like, for FimFic, it's a lot more clear-cut, I suppose. Like, does it have ponies in it? Does the title work as a title? Stuff like that. So, I don't know. This is me speaking as someone who has neither submitted to FimFiction or Equestria Daily, so I could be completely talking out my ass.
So what you need to do, Plum, you need to submit a story and write a blog series documenting your process of writing your first pony story.
I've had a blog series going on about my pony story attempts ever since I started on this site. I have a grand total of 0 blogs.
Doing God's work.
Yeah, doing God's work.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You're not contributing to the craft in any way, and yet you still judge it.
Wow.
That was enlightened.
Oh my god, I think I'm gonna go cry now.
Next week's podcast, for everyone who's watching, next week's podcast will be a roast of Professor Plum.
It'll be 90 minutes of me just sat in the corner crying.
We'll get full papers on the air.
Yeah, and then I'll do my collaboration with Couch.
All right, looking forward to it.
Oh dear. Right. Oh dear. Have we got any more questions in the public chat? Are they still discussing wing blades?
They're still talking about wing blades. Goddamn.
Oh God.
Somebody even just drew a diagram.
Yeah, we've got people are uploading diagrams to DeviantArt, and they're like, well, no, you put the blade wrong here, and you can make it collapsible. And
oh my god, he actually is uploading it.
No, we're serious. Wing blades, horses are very serious.
Yeah.
Okay?
Ponies are serious business.
Froggy,
That's news to me.
I love you, just so you know. I mean, God, the dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the prove a point that no one really cares about.
No, everyone cares about wing blades. Shut up.
Everyone.
Now, we do actually have a question from way back. We were kind of taking these in not first in, first out, so sorry. Question asked a while ago, if you could change the resolution of one plot point throughout the entire series, I assume canon series, would you change and why? So, we've got 4 seasons of material here.
What
Which
would
episode
you
would be
change
A?
about
Would
Pony?
you change?
That is far too much pony to go over in like 7 seconds of.
I would make them all griffins. More world building, please.
That is a really good question.
I would make
I think-
Twilight the princess of books.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be something to do with Sombra. I mean, I just want a backstory for him. I want something more than just crystals as his character.
No, he has slaves.
Yeah, he has slaves.
And
Yes,
crystal slaves.
So that's 3 things, I suppose.
They store energy and they light the halls of the castle, so he doesn't have to pay his electricity bill.
Oh dear.
That was the
That's
whole reason he enslaved the Empire.
Is that basically like the Matrix Pony Edition? Like, you've got the crystal ponies fueling the Crystal Empire. I don't know. Someone's gonna.
Well,
Alex is gonna.
well,
do
they
that.
both had the word crystal in them, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it can't just be a coincidence.
The Crystal Empire is made out of ponies. Oh, well. Still, that's
There are some nice implications going on if you look into the episodes enough.
what the Sombra stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mostly to do with what nature of magic he had and how it relates to alicorns in general. But that might have just been a typo on the part of the writers when they said alicorn magic is the evil purple stuff.
Yeah.
It is
I
kind of
don't
regrettable that
actually
he didn't
say
see
anything
like
about that
any
magic
more-
other than it was like bad or dark magic.
What was that? Sorry, Couch.
I don't know. Like I do feel it's kind of a shame that we never really got to see that magic again after the Crystal Empire. But that was a fun little addition to like the whole world of Equestria, and we just like haven't really seen the author, like the writers, do all that much with it like ever
The more
since.
dark magic sort of thing.
Yeah.
That could
It might be
work.
that it's specifically that is specific to alicorns, so they don't use it very much.
Mhm.
I don't know.
To be fair, Twilight could
Well,
use
now
it before
Twilight
she was
is
an
an
alicorn.
alicorn, so
Mhm.
But that's after she could use it before she was an alicorn, though. So
that is also true.
I think it was just that way because it served the needs of the story, and the writers had to
Yeah.
move on under.
Yeah.
timelines.
I would love to see someone write a story where now that I think about it, that door at the bottom of the Crystal Empire, like the evil one,
Mhm.
like a pony actually goes through that door instead of just looking through it.
ooh, interesting.
Read the comics.
Yeah,
Close enough.
I've read some of the comics. I'm a bit.
I own like the first 3, but that's about it.
I would so love to own them, but you know, Hasbro doesn't care about the UK, so.
I buy them
Tim-
whenever I see them at the bookstore.
Yeah. Was it Alex who asked earlier like how everyone was planning on getting to the giant hiatus?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Like the comics, the comics are, they're really good substitutes for the episodes that we were getting. And all that. I mean, like, they only come out like
more,
twice.
so.
Yeah, they only really come out like twice a month, unfortunately. But hey, you take what you can get.
A few of
And they're
them are
really
a bit,
good.
Yeah, a few
Yeah.
of them are a bit hit or miss, but overall the quality is really good. It's certainly a lot better than an awful lot of tie-ins
Oh yeah.
from other series. Like,
Well, especially if like Katie Cook, Andy Price, and Heather Breckel are behind like that particular arc. Like I haven't seen a dud from them at all.
yeah. I was in the local library recently, and I decided to browse the comic books section because why not? I found 2 things that were relevant. One of them was the fact that Axe Cop actually has a comic. Like, I know it's I knew it was a comic, but I had no idea they actually printed it out and you could buy Axe Cop comics. Like, this is amazing for me.
Axe Cop is still going on.
Yeah, for those who are listening who don't know, Axe Cop, it's written by 2 brothers. One of them is 30 years old and is the guy who draws it all, and the guy who writes the story is his little brother and is, like, what, 5 or 6 or 7 or something?
You might be 9 by now, I think. But-
Maybe 9 by now because it's been going on for a while. But it's basically the mind of a child realized with beautiful, beautiful art. Like, Axe Cop has a pet Tyrannosaurus Rex who doesn't have arms but has miniguns, and at one point turns into a zombie dragon with robot wings in order to fly into the zombie dimension.
The
And
zombie dimension.
yeah, and stuff like that. It's absolutely fantastic, and if you haven't checked it out, you need to.
Well, now I'm
Yeah,
certain
can you
we have
spell it?
a crossover.
Yeah, Axe
Oh,
Cop in
God.
Equestria, please.
Careful what you wish for there,
Wait,
Bob.
oh! I think we
Oh.
got one. Hang on.
What?
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 No, we have some people. We have someone asking for an Axe Cop crossover, but it has not been created. Sorry, false alarm. False alarm. False alarm.
Oh.
No, M1. It's not XCOM. It's Axe Cop, which is a completely different XCOM and Axe Cop together. That would be something special.
Actually, speaking of my writing endeavors, all I've been doing is just like watching this one Polish dude play XCOM. That's really about it.
Oh dear, I've been getting into watching like professional gaming. Not so much the COD stuff, but Counter Strike and StarCraft 2 are actually pretty damn impressive. But, yeah, that's a
There's-
tangent I don't feel it's worth going down at the moment. So a rare statement from me. Okay, so apparently Siraj owes me a beer for suggesting that all the ponies should be griffins, and agrees that Axe Cop is amazing. Alex Straza once more. Do you think in season 5 they'll finally make Twilight go Avatar state? Didn't she in the season finale basically? No, it was more Dragon Ball Z, but still.
She had the power, but she didn't look
It
like.
was more
she didn't have
Dragon
the
Ball Z.
hair. She didn't have the hair.
It
to
was
be
pretty Dragon Ball Z.
I was a little bit disturbed at like Fluttershy's rainbow-fied version because her mane is just like eating her alive. I'm not necessarily sure if like anyone else knows.
Rarity has creeped me out the most because
Yeah.
she just looked so high. With,
Well, no, I mean, they got more powerful, and if Dragon Ball Z has taught us anything, is that having more hair makes you powerful. So obviously they had to get bigger manes.
Pav.
But they look
Well,
like
then
they're
cut your
wearing.
hair off.
I know.
They just look weird. That's the problem.
I know. I had like the Samson attack here of reducing my powers
God.
by.
Attack
God.
on Pathera.
Where the hell is
Don't give him
Alex?
any ideas.
We've got all these great fics for Alex to write.
Yes.
Jamie's
Great.
in here.
Quote unquote great. Oh dear.
I saw this one artist like make these really neat like rainbow powered redesigns of the main sex, and I'll post it in the chat like right now.
I think I saw that on.
Yeah,
Tumblr.
somebody posted them earlier.
Oh man, yeah.
I think I saw them on Tumblr.
Rainbow power,
Yeah.
now including rainbows.
Yeah, right?
I find it odd that they've all got like fetlocks now. It's a bit unusual, but maybe that's just me finding fetlocks weird.
In the reinterpretation or in the canon material?
In general, like I can like Big Mac's like the stallion design where they've got fetlocks. I'm okay with that, but this sort of like in this image as an example, they've got this sort of well looked after growths of hair coming out the back of their hooves. Sort of
Oh,
thing.
I don't know. I'm not certain you're allowed to be a part of this fandom if you're not into unshorn fetlocks every now and then.
Mhm.
Unshorn fetlocks I've no problem with, but these are sort of groomed fetlocks, which it just looks very strange. They don't even match the color of their legs.
Oh,
so
come on, I like them.
It's like someone's glued a wig to their feet.
Oh yeah. I'm just looking at the link that Raz posted in chat. I see what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's like their hooves have little tiny manes on them.
It's
Rainbow
Kind of a
Bob
last
responded.
unicorn vibe. I'm getting it personally.
yes, that's actually a fair comparison.
Rainbow Bob responded with a
Oh
brilliant.
god, oh god, here we go.
Oh crap. Well, it looks like we're about to like run out of time. Was there anything else we need to go over?
Uh,
To be fair, we don't really stick to the schedule.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just what we shoot
It is
for.
much.
We overshoot. We overshoot.
If we, and we do overshoot an awful lot, so
I am
That's fine.
tired.
Oh.
I am tired. But will you fire the missiles?
I need to write words about horses because I haven't
Dude.
done
What?
Same
Do
here.
you really?
Ah,
We
renegade.
need to have our Seattle's Angels Cards Against Humanity game after this. You do realise?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
but horse
Anyway.
words.
But horse words though. So let's have a last call. Any questions? Ask them now, or forever hold your peace until like next a week on Saturday. No, 2
Or
weeks.
just don't,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't.
really
We
care.
don't care.
Or just go over on FimFiction, like click the little button that says Follow Couch Crusade, and I'll be happy to answer whatever other questions you have right now.
Anything. No topic is off
Anything.
limits. Including asking about when he's going to finish such and such a fic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone ask Couch when he's going to finish the Fire in the East.
What are you people doing to me?
I remember when I first saw
You're,
it.
you're the one who wanted to come on the stream, so.
Well, I
You can only blame yourself. Yeah.
So wouldn't that be victim blaming in a way? I don't know.
I don't know why, but I've been feeling more nostalgic about the fandom recently. Like
Hmm.
when I rediscovered the cover art, I just looked up A Fire in the East again, and I saw the cover art. I was like, man, I remember when that first came out.
Wow, that actually makes me feel really good that you're actually aware of that fic. So that makes
It's
me
one of
pretty
those
happy.
things that look really cool, but I never got around to reading it. Sorry.
Oh, I'll take that too. But the point is, you were aware of it, and that's all I really care about.
Yeah,
Because, like,
it,
it's-
it was
I don't
definitely
need
one of
your
those.
love, I just need your attention.
It was definitely one of those
Your
fics
existence.
that I kind of grew up alongside, so to speak, in the fandom.
Oh,
To answer Flashgen's question, how much money
Was
would it
that
take
was that a good or a bad?
it's just like, I need to get back to that story at some point. Just like
Never.
everything else.
But to answer Flashgen's question, which is how much money would it take for you to run through BronyCon naked except for a horse mask? Pay for my flight and it's done.
To answer that question, baby, I'll be whatever you want.
And the flight back and the bail.
And the legal counsel.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Man. Why would you even ask that?
It's
just-
Flash 10. He's got to make up for C squared because he's not here.
Mhm. Yeah.
C squared. Oh my god. No, he's here in spirit. He is all of them.
Or something. Yeah.
Or something. Scrolling through. We have one question from
The
Deja.
resolution on your webcam finally bumped up, Plum, and like your subtitle, it actually says spiffing now. This entire
Yeah.
time I thought it said spitting.
Well, he does do that too. If I'm not.
Did it really take 90 minutes for the resolution to increase? Fucking
Yeah.
It still hasn't.
Low res plum.
Yeah, low res
Yeah,
file.
because Couch stole our pixels.
He's using up all our internets. Oh dear.
It's clogging up all our tubes.
Mhm. There's a video by CGP Grey, who's an excellent person, who did a video on the whole net neutrality thing that's coming up, and the entire video used the analogy the internet is a series of tubes.
Well, it kind of pretty much already happened.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway,
It already got approved, and we're screwed unless we whine and
We need
complain
to-
more. So
fight for our right to pony.
yes,
So if I were to ask like everyone watching the stream right now what story I should work on next,
Ooh.
oh,
User poll. User poll.
Yeah, oh god, we've got a poll, don't we? Shit.
what?
well, we gotta wait like 3
You
minutes.
have
because
an
there's a
all
lag.
of the above option.
We gotta wait like 3 minutes.
That doesn't
because there's a
help
lag, so.
At all.
That doesn't help. Oh dear.
What is this poll though? Like I could go ahead and populate it for you guys, so you don't actually have to dig through the detritus. That's my FinFic account.
I have
What's that one story about fire in East? That's the one I think.
Mm.
Yeah, right, that one.
Oh my god,
Gosh.
I never. Anyway, yeah, last call. For any questions, we do have one from Wonder D. Do you think in season 5 they'll finally make AJ an alicorn?
Big damn better.
She's
Yeah.
already an alicorn in my heart.
She doesn't need the horn and the wings to have the power of an alicorn.
I think they will
Princess
make
of
AJ. They will make her an alicorn, and she'll be the princess of backgrounds.
Mm.
She
Yeah,
just
whenever
doesn't
she's,
turn up anymore.
it'll be like a Where's Waldo kind of thing, where you have to spot the AJ Alicorn in the background.
Oh dear.
Uh,
But
so-
knowing Hasbro, she'll turn up like 5 times in every crowd.
Couch does not like this idea.
Go on, Ed.
So, are we gonna?
Serious. Let's have one last question. Serious predictions for season 5. Let's go.
They will actually start doing stuff outside of Equestria.
I do hope so.
Because
Oh, God, that would be
Celestia
amazing.
did mention the
Twilight-
world at large, so Twilight did literally save the entire world in the
I
finale.
would love to see an episode where Twilight a dilemma comes up where Twilight has to choose over her friends or some sort of princess job that benefits Equestria as a whole.
I would like to see.
Almost did that in the season finale, almost, but
Almost.
they shied away from it. Yeah.
Like, I would like to see at least like once, like during the middle of the season or something like that, Celestia just like randomly dropping in to Ponyville, just like what she did back in season
Oh
1.
yeah,
That'd be
Celestia
amazing.
episode. We need that.
I don't think.
Butt is best butt.
Yeah. See, the problem is like I don't think the writers will ever go for a Celestia and Luna episode while they still have the main sex to work with. I mean, like, I'm kind of hoping that they do continue just like kind of writing episodes where not all 6 of the main ponies are involved at a time. Like maybe 2 or
Yeah.
3.
As someone who's just been watching like season 4 for a couple of hours today, I will admit AJ just like turns up and doesn't do anything. In about
Apple Brown Betty.
Yeah,
Oh.
Apple Brown Betties and go on, take these apples.
Applejack became so much better in season 4. Like she gained a sense of sarcasm.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It was
Very
great.
true.
And
When she's
the eyebrow
doing
thing.
things, she's great. Yeah, when she's doing things, she's great.
I
It's
love AJ's eyebrows. They do
Yeah.
amazing things.
just Princess of Eyebrows. Alex, get on that.
Do that.
Constant eyebrow waggling all day, every day.
Mhm. Like, she
Yes.
just goes around with Equestria giving everyone eyebrows.
It's very true.
She'll
be like an episode
be
of Kill-
one who
She'll end up like a character from
So
Kill.
she'll be in open court with Princess Celestia, and the pony will come up, and they'll ask a question or something, and then AJ responds with the eyebrows, and then before Celestia gives her formal
Yes.
response, and
It'll
then
just-
the episode ends.
It'll be like an episode of Kill la Kill with the fucking eyebrows everywhere.
I
Anyway,
need to watch that.
Caterpillar
I-
eyebrows.
I've watched parts of it, and they're not lying about the eyebrows. It's very true.
They
Anyway.
they went real crazy with the expressions.
Everything
Those
in
persons
Kill la
in the
Kill
beginning.
is turned up to 11. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a...
Fortunately, it dies away, but still.
I also want to see like another episode in season 5 where like Twilight is like she either loses her shit or doesn't actually know what to do.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Mhm.
She was a little bit too princessy for the season. Which, I mean, it's nice showing character growth and all that, but
Princess of marketing sales.
I think
that's cadence.
they gave her some bigger problems, and she kind of rose to the challenge. So
Mhm.
kind of like in this situation, you need to put her in a situation where she's just vastly outdwarfed by it. But I mean,
Yeah.
Twilight Sparkle versus God.
God.
for my suggestion,
Twilight
I'd
Sparkle
like to
is
see them.
God.
I would say them go the other direction. Let's have like a season 1 style episode where they have a sleepover. I mean, we've gone, especially in season 4, we've just gone with bigger set pieces, higher stakes, crazier and crazier. Let's take things a notch back and let's just see them all go swimming. Just shit. Whatever.
Each episode.
Like, Twilight gets called away for princessy stuff, and they all decide to go with her, sort of thing. Like, just
Or Twilight gets called away
shenanigans.
for princess stuff, and Rainbow Dash sleeps for 22 minutes.
And looks adorable doing so.
Yeah.
I think that's a suitable place to end the stream. Thank you very much, Couch Crusader, for turning up. This was... I think you'll be pleased to know that we had more people watching this one than we did in the John Perry episode. So,
Yeah. Sorry,
You got
John.
that
Which
over
is a shame because like John deserves like all the viewers he can get, like
He
more
does.
than I do.
He actually reads the
Humble,
stuff in the
humble,
featured
humble.
box, which is positive.
That's
right
true.
there.
Oh my god! Props to both him and the pre-readers, because the FinPic pre-readers don't forget that they have to read the stuff that doesn't get passed.
Oh god.
Like, just imagine imagine the worst story on FinFic, and remember that half of the stories that get applied are worse than that.
And
I
you
don't
have
know.
to
Like,
read
one of the funny things I've noticed about like fan fiction is just like it's so nicely laid out with like serif font and everything like that that mistakes just jump out at you a lot more than like say somewhere on DeviantArt where it's just like 10 point for Donna. Like I don't care if you forget like a comma or a period over there. It's DeviantArt. I'm not gonna expect that from you.
DeviantArt has no standards.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I don't know. I kind of miss that. Like,
Fanfiction.net of fan
Fanfic.
art. So.
90 has been a wonderful site, and I wouldn't wish it to go away like at all in that regard. But there is still a part of me that pines for when Fix came out in GDocs and DeviantArt.
Oh
Like,
god.
And images.
And then like when an update to a popular story would come out, you couldn't access it because everyone was trying to open the same GDoc at once. Oh, God.
Oh, I remember those days.
And then
Oh,
when
yeah.
we finally got in, everyone was just talking in the Google Docs chat. That was constantly flashing.
That was amazing. Yeah.
I actually
Maybe the author's in there. You can just chat with the author. Yeah.
I missed
God.
I missed
Yeah.
those the Google Doc chats because you could actually it was like dinner in a movie. You know, everyone was just sitting around reading the story and talking about it as it's happening.
Hmm.
I love
At the
that.
yeah, it's fair enough. Anyway, we should probably bring this to a close. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's
Yeah.
happy, I understand.
final note
Forcible
from Siraj
touching.
is Pav, he will end you. And yes, forcible touchings, as always.